No.
Okay, we're live. Fantastic. Welcome, guys, to 2017. First chat of 2017. I've got myself and Zaheer with me, and we are happy to say we have special guests. My hints in my last video were a bit obvious, and most people guessed anyway. But yeah, we're happy to say we've got Cora and Helen with us. So do you guys want to say hello? There may be people who don't know who you are, so do a brief intro and explain who you are if you can.
Who are we?
People.
So we've been reselling Lego for full time for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then earlier this year we got into eBay reselling. It's something I've done in the past, but Helen had never experienced it. And I once tried to get her into it sort of last year, well, now 2015, and she absolutely hated it. She sulked all the way around this tiny little car boot, but now she's hooked. She understands the method in the madness.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it really.
Yeah.
And we do FBA as well.
Kind of.
Yeah, I've not seen you talking a lot about FBA recently. Are you still doing much of that side of it?
Bit of a weird thing at the moment, isn't it? Because it seems to be like just restricting products left, right, and centre. And until we know like what products they're going to be restricting when, and the terms of sort of everything else, what was the other thing they was doing? Oh, long-term storage fees. Until we understand long-term storage fees, and until we understand what products they're restricting, we're being very hesitant as to what we pick up for Amazon.
So much going on already that it was just something that's just dropped.
Yeah.
And we've just not paid attention to it at all, because everything else has took priority. So that's just been a thing to just like, oh, it'll be fine. We'll pick it up when we can.
Would it be fair to say, from an observer of you guys and your videos, that you guys throw yourselves into everything and kind of then run to catch up? Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, no, Cora throws us into these things, and I just have to go, yeah, sure. Yeah. And I'm the one running. She's like, yeah, it's such a good idea. Yeah. And I'm like,
that does come across as well, actually, to be fair. How are your personalities different in that way? Is it Cora being the coming up with all these crazy ideas and Helen being the calm, rational one? Would that make sense or not?
We've never had Cora's never had an idea that really didn't work out. She's never had anything really bad that failed,
and I've never had anything where Helen said specifically no. She said, that's a good idea. Can we just wait like a couple of weeks, or can we just do this first?
Yeah, it's always been a compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am very like, I don't say reserved, I'd say like I'm quite cautious. I think that's the word.
Whereas I'm the opposite, and I just go all guns blazing.
Yeah, you are.
I just realised I incredibly rudely didn't really say hi to Z when we went live.
Oh.
How are you doing, bud?
I'm good. I'm fine. Just enjoying the chat. I mean, one thing I actually wanted to ask as well. I mean, the other thing I see you guys like put out there is you are more entrepreneurs rather than just resellers. So whereas a lot of us kind of do one thing, or like I see myself, I just resell on eBay, but you guys have got like just kind of the way you work and the different variety of things you do. You see yourself more as just entrepreneurs rather than just online resellers, because I do think there's a difference between being just an online reseller and an entrepreneur. It'd be cool to hear what you guys actually think, if there is a difference, what that difference is, and it's just how you see yourselves in that.
Yeah, I'd agree, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And that was a point we tried to get across in those videos very early on. We're not just people who do one thing and one thing only. Reselling's quite new to us, but we also do a lot of other things. When Helen quit her job and we bought this house and we were both full-time self-employed, we needed to ensure that we had multiple income streams to...
So if one failed, we still had something else to fall back on.
And that's, I think, where sort of this whole crazy doing loads of things has come from. Obviously in 2017, we're toning that back because financially we're a lot more stable now. We know what's going on and we know what works and what doesn't, more than we did in 2015. And yeah, every year we're learning more and more and just prioritizing sort of what we enjoy best and what makes us the most money, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd definitely say entrepreneurs over online resellers.
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear that you're deciding to to really tone down your Lego thing and sell off a lot of your Lego stock? Because I assume that was kind of the main income of your business, because that's, you know, you set up as a company, etc. So I assume that was kind of the mainstay of your income. Was that not the case?
It is, and it's not just a financial decision, it's also a personal decision on our part. We both went to uni, and you know when you like study something intensely for like a really long period of time and it suddenly becomes like really boring or really dull? That's kind of what Lego's done. We've completely lost the love for it, we've completely lost the excitement for it. And yeah, we hate it sometimes, don't we?
Yeah, I don't think it helps that when we quit as jobs, we obviously like, right, we really need to make this work. So we would be working
15, 16 hours,
yeah,
7 days a week.
It got to the point where it was all over the house. It was in the kitchen, the living room, next to the bed. I'd be standing on it on a morning, I'd be falling over it. It got to that point, and I think this year it's like, I don't want to see it anymore.
And when we came to sell our house, it was a big drawback. Obviously, you can't show parts of your house if you're trying to sell them with, like, for insurance purposes, so much Lego inside them. And then when people were coming around, they were looking around and not seeing the full potential of the house because there was just this mountain of Lego. And for the amount of space it takes up and the hassle versus the money we make, and it was like a lot of deciding factors. But we're kind of keeping with it. We're just keeping with the most profitable part of it, and the most, like, the best part of it in the terms of us personally, and the best part of it in the terms of storage, because we'll just, in a little tower, and we're done.
I love minifigures so much. Yeah. I'm a 43-year-old man who adores minifigures. How sad is that? But yeah, funny enough, the Lego thing I can totally understand, because I sold nothing but Lego for it was getting on for a year, I think, in all told. But I got so distracted by wanting to buy and sell other things that I couldn't be a specialist, and I got so bored of doing one thing. So I totally understand that element of it completely. And these days I love the fact that I don't know what I'm going to be buying this week. I don't know what I'm going to be getting into next month or whatever, and that's the part of the job that I think keeps me interested. It keeps it alive for me, the fact that, you know, each year is different, and I tend to on purpose move into different areas and come in and out of things because it keeps it alive for me. Would you agree with that, Zaheer, and with what you do?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's like a recurring thread that whenever we talk to resellers, and obviously it's coming across with Cora and Helen as well, that passion is so important in what you do, isn't it? And if you do lose that, no matter how successful something is, then it just becomes like too much like a job. And it's the whole point, I suppose, that you want the freedom of being an entrepreneur, is so you can do things that you enjoy. And that comes across obviously with you guys YouTube as well, which has been like insane. I mean, the growth on there, congratulations guys. It's like, well, you're nearly 4,000 subs now, probably, I don't know,
3,100 or something like that,
within the space of you know. And you can see that you guys enjoy doing it, because you know, anyone that's made YouTube videos understands the work that goes into doing that, and you wouldn't do it unless you genuinely enjoy putting stuff out there. And it is a lot of fun, and you know, you guys obviously love doing it, and it's showing with, again, that passion translates into, you know, it translates into like results and success as well. But you need, you know, it's kind of it's an imperative thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, that goes back to what I was saying before, that what I get from you guys is that you throw yourselves into everything. And that happened with YouTube. It's like nobody had heard of you guys in our little community, and then it's all of a sudden you're everywhere. In a good way, but it's like, whoa, hello. And yeah, it's been fascinating to see your channel evolve. And
I'm
now
gonna have to just butt in there, Nick. Sorry about that. But I've just been dipping into the comments, and Joe Berman says Zaheer's hairdo is dope.
Nice.
I just wanted to put that in there. Thanks. That's the comment I'm reading out now for the rest of the show.
Actually, before the
chat there are no more comments.
Let's just say a few hellos, because there's
91 people already in the chat. So you know, that's fantastic.
Who have we got? Michelle in there. Chelsea says Happy New Year. So Happy New Year, mate. Thrifting Life. Nasir, Leanne, Steve Green's in there. See who else we've got.
David Moore, yeah, Rich Stan, Joe Berman, who's a wonderful guy because he thinks my hair is dope. Lisa's in there as well. Hicksy's in there as well. Yeah.
Fake Rachel. All sorts of people. If you do have any questions for either ourselves or Cora and Helen, feel free to put them in. If you put question in capitals at the beginning, it just makes it easier for us to spot them. And we can try and get onto questions as well.
Hicksy's memory is always up there. He's saying, hurry up, Cora and Helen, get to 10,000 subs. You promised to piss up with me. So he's already waiting for that, and he won't pass that up.
There was a question. Let me just find it again. David Morse. Did you guys manage to pick up any RA from Tesco's toy sale? I did. I don't know if any of you guys went looking.
We did, but we feel like it's what everybody else is doing, and that's almost a drawback for us at the minute. Yeah. More than it was last year. Last year we were picking stuff up from Tesco and we were sending it in and it was flying out. But this year, I feel like whatever we've picked up from Tesco in any of the sales pre-Christmas sort of Q4 period and sent up to Amazon has just been like a race to the bottom.
Yeah, with a lot of that stuff, you do have to wait long term. And what you were saying earlier is a bit of the key now, because we don't know what the fees are going to be. We don't know how stung we're going to get for that. So although I have bought some, I've been fairly cautious volume wise. And a lot of it, I think I will keep here rather than sending it in and pricing high and waiting as I've done in the past. I might just keep hold of it and then reassess next Q4. But most of what I've got, I am going to wait until next year. There's a big stack of stuff here as well. It's almost as tall as me that isn't from Tesco's, but that's all going to wait till next Q4. But yeah, I know what you mean about everybody jumping on the stuff, which is why I don't tend to share my RA as much these days. No, because my channel reaches so many people. It is a bit daft to share that openly now, to be fair. Right, let's see if we've got any more questions.
I've had a couple of questions come in. Holly asks, what's the fastest item to sell to either sell on eBay or Amazon? Keep up the great work. What would you say to someone who's just starting out, maybe?
No, pass. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the answer really would be anything you enjoy doing. Your first item that you want to really mess around with is probably what you enjoy personally as a hobby. Maybe that's always a great place to start. So whether that's video games, toys, or whatever, if it's something you enjoy doing, I'd say do that.
You'll pick up. Cora has like her own things to pick up. And then I pick up totally different things. Like she will go to the toys, but she'll be looking at like the games and the consoles, and I'm just like, no, electricals are not for me. And then I'm like, oh, a Jellycat bear, and I run to the opposite stall. So I think that because that's something you had, and I, as a child, I loved teddy bears and all sorts like that. Yeah. So I think that's if you start with something that you know or you once had or liked, I think you can't really go wrong. Would you say? Yeah.
I suppose that's another benefit you guys have got because you're going out like sourcing, etc. You know, you're working as two separate entities, so you bring two separate points of view, which is always going to be a bonus, isn't it? And like I said, you've got different interests. I mean, we're finding that as well now. Beck's started to do a bit more of this as well, and she's getting into the reselling, and she's into completely different stuff than me, and it's refreshing because I'm seeing different things to sell now, whereas before it was just what I wanted. So definitely. I
was going to say there's Brett is a big fan of you guys, loved your channel, which is good to hear. I did spot another question. Where's it gone? You guys ever had your PayPal banned and therefore lost hundreds of positive feedback on eBay? What?
No.
Have you ever had your PayPal banned? Why would that lose feedback on eBay? I don't really understand that one. I don't know if you guys understood what that meant, but no. Kath has asked Cora and Helen, any more definite plans for the road trip this year?
We're sort of waiting until the Lego. Right now, we are packing orders, like wrapping and packing orders, pretty much 24/7. I feel like when the Lego dies down and when the car boot season picks back up, depending on where we are subscriber count,
I think we'll do it.
We'll do it. I'm so excited by it. It's like I can't explain
I
it.
just hope we've got enough.
What is the idea? Remind me what the idea is.
We're just going to go in his van and basically go around all the northeast of England, right up to Scotland, and spend about 3 weeks on the road sourcing, going into different charity shops, going to car boots, but also meeting up with other resellers. We think it would be just like really fun.
Yeah.
And vlogging it as you go, do you mean? Or
Yeah. I know that what's his name in America who did something similar.
Rachel Profit did it, and I think it was a guy called Resell Rabbit as well. I think he was the guy that originally did it, and then Raking Profit did it. Yeah, that sounds like a really fun idea. A lot of effort, but because you're going to be out away from home for ages. But yeah, it would be really cool. It would definitely be cool.
Yeah.
We've just had a question which I can answer quickly. What does RA mean? Well, it's just a short abbreviation of retail arbitrage, which is a daft term for basically just buying new stock to sell on at profit. That's all RA is. All right, let me check if there's any more questions in there. Okay, I had a few questions. You kind of answered one, which was, what items do you guys, this is talking to Cora and Helen, what items do you guys enjoy picking up, and does that vary between you? You kind of already answered that, but do you have specific genres that you go to? I know you just said that, you know, electricals is perhaps more Cora's thing and toys more Helen. Are you not sticking to that now? Are you switching between?
There's one thing that we both enjoy picking up, and that's anything Disney.
Yes.
Anything Disney, we both love.
I think because we're fans of Disney, but we're not collectors.
Yeah.
But we can see why people want to collect it.
Definitely, yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, I'm toys and your games and things like your DVDs.
Yeah.
Like when we first started going to car boots, Cora would be like, "Oh, DVDs." And I was like, "We have got so many at home, we don't need any more." She's like, "But we can create bundles and we can never have too many DVDs." I was like, "No, we have too many DVDs." And that's the only thing we've ever really like debated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from we went to a charity shop the other day, I found Disney with the like badge on the foot of a dog.
I saw that. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. And I was like, she was like, "No, it's £2. It's too much. Don't get it." And I was like, "No,
I'm such a cheapskate.
I want this dog." And I got it. Found out who it was, and it was Trusty or Dusty from Lady and the Tramp.
I think someone mentioned that on the UK reselling group, saying thank you guys. They would never have seen it if they hadn't seen your video.
And we've actually had an offer. So we put it on at $69.99, and within an hour it had 4 watches and somebody emailing saying, "Would you take an offer?" And so I said yes, we'll take £70, which was what the asking price. However, due to the interest, I'm actually going to put it up to £100. And then today we had an offer of £70 that I rejected and went to 85 on. So, which is really interesting because over lunch we were watching your latest videos here on you taking offers on stuff, and it made me think, should I have accepted that offer after all?
No, you've got to go with your gut, really, haven't you, on those things? I mean, it's obviously worth. It's obviously worth it. If you're already getting so much interest, then you're the only ones on there with that. But again, it's like, it's not a coincidence that, you know, people like yourselves find stuff like that, because you guys are out there constantly looking, aren't you? I mean, it's not, you know, it's not a case of you just walk into a charity shop and there's like a rare Disney plush or there's like an amazing item. It's because you guys, you know, you go to God knows how many charity shops a week. I mean, how often do you guys go out at the moment sourcing at charity shops?
4 or 5 days a week, but it's not for long periods of time. It's the sort of to break the day up. You guys will know that if you work from home and you're not socializing with anybody but your other half, it can quickly get very like claustrophobic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we like to go out like as often as possible.
I think because sometimes, like with the Lego especially, it can get quite intense, like wrapping orders and you're bumping into each other every 2 minutes and you're like, "Oh, just get out of my way."
Yeah. Although we never argue. We just "Oh, I'm sorry." "No, I'm sorry."
Oh, of course, yeah, I believe that totally. Yeah.
It's early days. I was going to ask, actually, you said that the Lego is really doing well. Is that because I remember you said you discounted some of it to start moving it. Has that had an instant effect then?
Actually, no. The first 2 weeks were really, really poor. So the week before Christmas and then the week between Christmas and New Year. But then the past sort of 3 days have been amazing.
Yeah.
Today we posted between eBay and the Lego sites. We posted out 100 parcels today, which was a nightmare. But obviously it's been a bank holiday, so luckily we've had a chance to kind of keep on top of it and catch up.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a troll.
No worries.
107 people in the chat now, so thanks everyone for watching. We've got 21 likes. Obviously it would be great for our egos if you went ahead and smashed the like button, because it's important.
Oh, with Steve Raken in the room.
Oh, yeah, I know. If someone said it was a good impersonation last time and it upset me, but it's good. Let's have a look. Question. Leanne Lakin asks, do you guys have any problems getting insurance for selling used electronics?
I don't have insurance for it anyway, so I don't.
No, I don't either. I don't. I just make sure that it works and is the wire is safe. There's no nicks and no exposed internal wiring, and everything's fine. If you, again, it's a case of if you're confident in that, or if you're buying your electronics from a charity shop, you'll find that in most cases it will have been pat tested for its safety, and then you can just test it for its functionality.
Yeah, I'm sure there is reasonable insurance to get third-party liability cover for that, but I really don't think it's necessary. On virtually every appliance that you might resell, it'll be a fused item anyway. And if you are worried, just put a cover note in saying, get this pat tested, because it isn't, or something. But don't take my advice. If you want to get insurance, do it, but I don't.
UK Reseller's got a question. This is for anyone out there. Is it possible to make $1 million through eBay? And what tips could anyone give about this? If anyone's got ambitions that high, I'm sure you two girls would have an opinion on it at least. Can you make $1 million in eBay?
Yeah, easily. It's about, well, it's whether or not you want to. It's one thing saying, I'd like, and I think that's what we've realised between 2015 and now. It's one thing saying you want to, but we live quite a frugal lifestyle. We don't need that much money. So why are we creating all this work for ourselves? We need to find the balance where it's still fun and we're not working as hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's possible, but it's whether or not you really, really want to.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. There are many eBay millionaires. It's been documented in the past that people have set up businesses through eBay and made millions. But it is totally about your drive and your motivation to do it. And I've said many times that we don't bust the gut doing this anymore because we don't have to. We have, through being self-employed, set up a life and got ourselves to a position where we don't have to work super hard anymore. And the motivation really isn't there. My objective isn't to be a millionaire. It's to lead a comfortable life and to be happy. And they're very different things. So yeah, you're right. You have to decide what you want out of it and go for that, really.
Yeah,
I'd agree with you guys.
Jean Mays has a question here saying, what item have you had on eBay the longest? So that would be quite an interesting question from the perspective that, are you guys into keeping items for a long period of time to make sure that you get the highest profit you can, or are you more looking to just move inventory on regularly?
I personally think that depends on the item. If it's got, I tend to look at the views and the watchers, and if something's had 40 views but been on for 6 weeks, that's clearly a sign that it's either missing a keyword, the photo's wrong, or the price is just too high and unrealistic. Because of, I again think this is personal circumstances. Because of our situation, we don't have a lot of space, and we enjoy sourcing so much. So we have to find a really good balance between moving stock quickly, but also getting the best price.
That's a good point, and it's nice to hear that list of variables that you've talked about, because it's quite simple just to say, yeah, you just stick something on and expect it to sell, but there are all those different variables. They have to be taken into account. So for example, I like picking up electronics, but if they don't move very quickly, they take up a lot of space. I mean, if you've got amps and VCRs and things stacked on top of each other that you know can become quite annoying. I mean, Nick knows he's got some VCRs which have been behind him for
yeah. Well, very soon actually, I'm going to get all of the electronics out and test everything and list everything. And I've probably got about 2 or 3 weeks worth of work just to catch up with my electricals. It's all like stored away at the back here.
Gonna get done, is it?
Yeah, yeah, maybe soon-ish. But yeah, that was an interesting point about do you want to flip something quick or not? And it does relate a lot to the actual item. It's like that Warhammer army that I sat on for 1.5 years and was quite happy to, because it was a valuable item, but it was a very niche item. And I knew if I waited long enough, I'd get the right person. Funnily enough, I couldn't find the right person, and I ended up dropping it down about £100. I think I took about 150 on. I can't even remember now, but you know, but that was an item that I was happy to wait on, even though it's quite bulky. Whereas media and games and stuff, I'll sit on them for a few months and then I'll slash the price and get rid of it. To me, they're quick flip items, media and that sort
I
of
also
stuff.
think it depends how you obtain the item. So we've just started going to auctions, which Helen loves, except she daren't move during the auction proceedings. She literally sits still and won't even talk to me because she's so scared of bidding on something. But I mean, if we're picking up boxes of crap for pounds, then we're happy to, you know, list things in auctions just to shift it out quickly, and then take the good items and put them at good prices on Buy It Now, or list the crap stuff cheaper just to get it out of the door, but then keep the good stuff. So yeah, I think it depends how you get it as well. And as Zaheer said, that depending on on one of our recent videos, you know, depending on the price we've paid, depends on the price we'll put it at, and we're happy to take a lower offer because we paid this and we're still doubling as money even though it was on at a higher price.
Yeah, that makes sense. Where do you guys stand now on? I know you had a go at the auctions thing and experimented with that. What are your plans moving forward with auctions? Are you going to keep that as part of your plan or not?
What do you think?
As in selling on auction?
I think if it's something we don't feel worth value to keep it as a Buy It Now, then we can just get it on an auction just to get rid of it.
I think Darren from Smart Reselling has got it down to a T. And I know Zaheer mentioned this about his 24-hour Lego Star Wars auction. Start it at a price you're happy to take is the lesson we've learned. And then if it gets that one bid, then it's gone. And if it goes any higher, absolutely excellent. But if it gets that one bid, somebody thinks they've got a bargain and you've got an item out of the door that you otherwise would have been sat on waiting for that extra £4 or £5 or that 10% for.
Yeah.
I mean,
forever.
I'm almost going to the kind of point now where it's more about not putting the crap stuff on auction. I mean, especially if you've got a shop, you're probably better off just listing the stuff that's not as in demand or as popular on a Buy It Now, because you've got loads of listing, and as long as it's not taking up like loads of room, obviously. And I found that it's about putting like the in demand stuff, the popular stuff on. I think sometimes when people get disappointed with some of their auction results is maybe when they're putting on items that, you know, you don't really, there's no real demand for. I mean, the stuff I've put on recently, I've put on because it you know, you attract watchers straight away. It attracts people straight away, and they want to bid on it, they want to buy it, it's in demand. So I'd say that maybe it's also, if auctions are something that you want to try and you're looking at them, it kind of goes against what you'd initially think. People like to think, oh, if it's, I don't care what I get, so I'll put the crap on auctions, I don't care what I'll get. But the chances are, because it's crap, you won't get a lot. Whereas if you're better off just asking more for the crap. Like if I've got a crap PS2 game that isn't going to fetch a lot of money, I'm happy to stick it on at 4 or 5 quid and leave it forever, because it doesn't take up much room for me. And I sold Flipnick or something, a pinball game on the PS2 for 4 quid. I know that's not a lot of money, but I wouldn't get that at auction because no one wants it. It's just not valuable. But the right person will eventually come along at Buy It Now and pay me 4 quid for it. So that kind of thing, you know.
It's interesting. You may have seen the couple of auctions I've run recently. One was that army figure. Well, I listed both of them on auction because I really didn't know what they could achieve. And I thought, I'll experiment with this. I started them at 30, which was what I thought they were worth. but because I couldn't find those figures, it may have been they were a rare issue, or, you know, something, I don't know, unusual that might go crazy. So I gave them that chance. So that's one time I used that. Funnily enough, one didn't sell and one sold for the opening bid. So it didn't change anything. But the other one was that job lot of Littlest Pet Shop that I knew had ridiculous, insatiable demand. So I was happy to actually start that at 99 pence, and it went up to almost £100. But yeah, it's interesting. Everyone has very polarizing views on the auction thing, and I think that's going to rage on forever. Fine.
I've got a question here from Andrea, actually. Quite a good question. Hi to Cora Helen and Mittens. Good to see you on the chat. How did you get into doing competitions? And I'd love to hear about this as well, because I've seen that you guys have got like you won a trip to Orlando. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that was amazing. I thought that was a fantastic video, by the way, guys. Really enjoyed that. But yeah, if you could tell us how you got into doing competitions, and you talk about it daily as well. Like you always mention that you're doing competitions. I mean,
there is more competitions to enter than you'd ever imagine. But again, this is a me thing. I started this one off. My friend actually won a trip to Las Vegas, and I thought, well, if she's won this trip to Las Vegas, it must be pretty easy to win. So I set out on this road. Obviously, I run a blog, so I set out on this road to enter 100 competitions and find out how many 1,000 competitions, see how many I'd win. And from there, I won 1 in 333, which isn't a dreadful statistic. But then I started researching more and found out different ways of winning, and it kind of just spewed out from there. And then in 2016, one of my New Year's resolutions was to really start entering competitions to see what I could win. And yeah, this year's been, I couldn't imagine not doing it now.
So the first few things she won, there was one particular day that Cora had won a cake, and it was like a 16 slice cake, but each slice was a different flavour that we got to choose. That turned up at the door. I was the happiest I've ever been.
Until she was downstairs plating it up, and I got a call to say that I'd won a Valentine's night weekend away from me and Helen, and a 7-course dinner meal with a wine accompanying each course and a champagne tea. In which case I was just like, Helen, you'll never believe this, as we sat eating this cake. We then went to the shopping centre that afternoon and got another call to say we'd won another Valentine's weekend away with a celebrity chef.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Which we managed, because Cora had already said that we've got somewhere planned for Valentine's Day, something came up. Can I exchange it for a later date? Which we were able to do, which was fantastic, because it meant we got 2 weekends
away for free in these really amazing hotels.
That is amazing. It's something I've never got involved with, but the ladies that used to work in the main post office in Hitchin, where I live, they all used to do it, I think, as a group of them, and they were always winning stuff, and it fascinated me. And I know do you use certain websites that post all the different competitions, and how do you structure it? Is it a certain amount of time a day you would give to that, or is it not that organized? How do you do it?
It wasn't that organized. We are trying to be more organized with it.
I don't think it'll ever happen. I mean, in the past week or so, we've probably spent 3 hours doing it, because things have been so crazy. But when sales slow down, we're happy to just stick on a movie and sit in bed and just click away at entering these competitions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how does that actually work? Like the mechanics of it? I mean, do you just become like ninja fast at doing these things, or?
It's robo-forms though, isn't it? It's all robo-forms. And on these websites where they list the competitions, they actually list the answer. So they'll say the answer's C65. So you just click that button, typing it the first letter of your name, and the robo-form brings everything else up. Click down, click enter again, and it's done.
On to the next one.
But then the least popular ones to enter are the effort-based competitions, or the purchase necessary competitions. Ones where you've got to photo, record a video, or purchase an item. People don't enter those as much, and therefore they tend to win more.
Yeah.
But obviously the time you have to spend entering them can range anything from 5 minutes to an hour.
I think that's testament to your guys' motivation, though. Again, I mean, it's another thing that's available out there, but it's having the kind of motivation to go and do it. it is amazing. And I think you guys are setting like a really good example. I mean, I remember just saying to you guys, like, how do you fit so much in? It's, you know, how do you do it? I mean, are we sharing the same 24 hours here? I'm not sure. But that's, you know, that's just graft, isn't it, guys? I mean, I think because you guys say it all with a smile on your face, it's easy to kind of be like, you know, hi, it's great. But it's good to kind of get a peek behind the amount of effort that goes in. I think that's kind of what your vlogs tend to show a bit.
But sure, because so many people watch reselling videos and go, that's easy, I'm just going to go to a car boot and pick up a load of stuff, and they forget about the part where you've got to test it, the part where you've got to clean it, you know, the part where you've got to list it, the part where you've got to pack it.
The nice photos and everything like that. I think other people just forget.
Well, we said it before, it's no coincidence that successful entrepreneurs tend to be hardworking, dedicated and enthusiastic, you know, and it's not a coincidence at all. That's all I'll say. You know what I mean? They come hand in hand, the success and the enthusiasm and the hard work. It's all part of it. I just realized when you said Andrea, that's actually my wife. She's watching this and commenting.
Oh yeah, that's right, Nick. She is.
Hi wifey, how are you doing? Andrea really loves your videos as well, guys. She's been a fan since the early days. How have you found, actually, I mean, as I said before, you guys have just thrown yourselves into YouTube, but how has that changed things for you? Because you must be putting a lot of time into this now. And I see you've got a PO box and you're interacting with people and stuff. So you must be enjoying it.
The PO box was part a business decision and part a personal decision. Yeah, that's fun in itself. The videos, we enjoy making them, and there's so many points in our life where we've said, wouldn't it have been cool if we could have captured this moment, or that time where we did this, especially when we started out. And we watch a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he was saying, like, imagine if Vivienne Westwood had started a vlog, a daily vlog, when she just started designing and things like that. And I was like, that's a really good idea, Gary V. And that's where the sort of the spark came from. And I thought, oh yeah, this will be really fun to do. And it turns out we have captured some fantastic, I mean, us winning the trip to Orlando was probably the best thing I think we've ever captured on camera.
I don't know, Breaking the Box was
Breaking the Box was a good one. And yeah, it's nice to just be able to document those memories. It does take up a lot of time. Mainly time that I'm spent like taking away from things, and remembering to take your camera everywhere and not being embarrassed by the fact that the bloke in the post office is looking at you a bit weird because you're filming yourself getting a parcel.
Yeah, I find that difficult. Filming out in the public, it's difficult. It's getting a bit easier because people actually do kind of Skype talk or, you know, or video chat. So you're looking a bit more normal doing it these days, but I'm so self-conscious. You wouldn't think it, but I really am, especially when I'm out there filming. It's not too bad if you're with someone else, but if you're on your own talking to your phone like that, you just look like a plonker. So it's not easy.
In the cam earlier, and I was like holding,
because we've got a camera, like a flip-up screen camera, so it's not even like we can disguise it as a FaceTime call.
So I was like in the passenger seat saying, you know, we're just going out, we're doing this, that and other, and the bloke in front was watching us in his mirror, and he was like, oh, what they're doing. And because he couldn't see the camera, he just saw my hand up and was talking away at this thing up here. It were a bit like, it were really like trying to see, and I'm like, oh.
But that self-consciousness is the reason we've not done a crotch cam video of like car boots and stuff, because we're just terrified of somebody like either saying, are you filming me? Or like saying, no, you're not having that deal. What are you filming me for? Or, you know, that it'll distract away from the fact that we're there to buy stuff.
Bargains.
Yeah, filming while you're sourcing is tricky. I've done a couple in charity shops where I can just hold my phone so it's facing outwards and it doesn't look too obtrusive. And I've done that in jumble sales quite easily. But if you're using your camera, yeah, it's going to be obvious.
Yeah, especially if you strap it to your crotch area. I mean, who'd do that? I mean,
yeah, that wasn't a long-lived thing, was it, Z?
No, I knocked that on the head after the potential implications regarding law and order, etc. So I thought probably best to put that one away. Yeah. There's 120 people watching now, so thank you everybody. There's a lot of comments coming through. I'm just trying to pick some out. A lot of support for you guys, just generally saying how they love your channel, how you guys are great, etc. I'm sure you're hearing that a lot, but it is deserved.
Put the chat on because we don't like distract ourselves too much. Otherwise,
you know what? We're no better at it. I think we've been doing this weekly now for how long? I don't know, Nick, but I still can't keep up with the chat. I've picked a question out just because it's just popped out. Julian Linswell asks, "What is Cora and Helen's favorite pickup of 2016?" So just your overall favorite pickup.
That Shire Durkin 2 PS1 game for me personally. I had no idea what it was, and I picked it up, and we couldn't believe what it was worth.
That was the one that sold for like 130 odd. Is that right, or something?
Yeah.
Like?
What game was that? Sudoku? Did you get that?
Sudoku.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
That was really early on as well, and it was just a complete accident. We didn't know it was worth anything, and I just thought, that's a fancy name, isn't it? I bet that's worth something. And it was, I think, £2 or £2.50. I thought, that's a lot for a game. And there's like an upstairs in this charity shop, so I kind of took this game upstairs and scanned it into FBA, and I'm going, Helen! You know, sometimes FBA brings in like false results, and you've got to kind of double check, because people price stuff so crazy high on there. Well, I double checked eBay. Oh my God, if that's true, it's worth the £2.50. So we went down and we bought it, and some other PS1 games that were worth quite a bit as well, didn't we?
Yeah. I think mine's got to be that dog.
Yeah, I can see why.
2016?
Yeah.
Were it? Yeah. Just
in the.
Okay, yeah. It's good. Yeah.
Something else
stood out.
No.
The Wally backpack was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. I did like that. Otherwise, I think it's all just been little things, but yeah, the dog I think has been something that I found that's been worth £2.
Steve Green has just said he started doing competitions for an hour a day because of watching Cora and Helen. But he hasn't won anything yet. Just keep plugging away, Steve.
Yeah. You've got to remember that the competitions you enter today might not close until like 3 weeks from now. So in 3 weeks, when you get a note to say that you've won this competition, you'll think, why the hell did I stop doing it 3 weeks ago? I should have kept doing it, and then I might have more to come. When I started in January 26. What year are we in? 26. When I started in January 2016, I didn't win a lot, but in February I won loads because of how hard I'd worked in January. If that makes sense.
So is it all online stuff, or do you do any sending away things and forms and all that, or is it just online stuff you do?
Some are postcards.
Yeah, some are like send away stuff. They're not as popular anymore. Like obviously everything's moved online.
Yeah.
We do some that are postal entry.
Cool. I think we might dabble in that. Sounds fun. It's the fact that you've won a trip to Orlando that's just freaked me out. Because we're actually planning on hopefully at some point going to Disney over there. Andrea and I did Disney in California before Ellen was born. We've always promised Ellen, who is now 15, to go to Disney, and we still haven't done it. So we're planning that anyway.
We went 2015.
2015 we went.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to go back. It's only for 5 nights though.
Yeah, and it's only for Universal.
Not Disney, but that's fine because it's more than enough for my parents who've never flown long haul. They've never been outside of Europe, so this is a whole new world for them at an age of 60.
Oh wow! So you won tickets for them as well?
Yeah,
it was a family of 4
adults.
4 adults. So then we decided to take them. We asked them if they wanted to go. Cora's dad didn't really get much of a choice because
he was brushing his teeth, and my mum went, "Yes, we'd love to." And by the time he turned around, it was just like, "Yeah,
I've got to go with it now."
But they're paying for my brother to come out because he's never been outside of Europe. But he can't come on the outbound flight with us. There's been a real mess up. So when they booked it, they wasn't allowed to book my brother on and us just paying the difference. They had to mail us the documents and then us book my brother on. Now, in between them mailing the documents and booking my brother on, the flight outgoing has sold out. So my brother's actually having to fly on his own. Luckily, he's going to be like 20, but he's actually having to fly out on his own and do the transfer alone and everything like that. And they've paid like a crazy amount of money for him to come out and join us for like 4 days. But otherwise, it'd be, why did you all get to go to America and me stay at home? So
yeah.
But that is a serious monetary value prize when you think about it, because the flights are about £1,000 plus each, surely.
£7,000 it's valued at. And yeah.
7,000.
That's amazing.
And it would feel so good, wouldn't it? It would just feel really good. Like you'll get up in the hotel room and you just look at the family across and be like, yep. You know, you'd be eating breakfast at the breakfast bar and you should be thinking to yourself, yep, it's going to be fantastic. I hope you guys enjoy it lots. Here's a question that you'd expect from a bunch of resellers. Silver Hairstack asks, can you sell your winnings from competitions?
Yes, you can. There's some things that'll say like not exchanged for monetary value, but that obviously means that you can't ask for the money instead. But yeah, you can buy stuff to sell it. We win sometimes like books and stuff that we're not interested in, or you know, things like that. The main things you end up winning though are experiences. And so the whole thing about entering 1,000 competitions was to find out whether you could earn a living just entering competitions. And most people said no, because a lot of things you win are like holidays, nights away, getaways, you know, Segway experience and things like that. And you can't sell those. But yeah, we won a TV, and we kept that TV but sold our old TV. We won a PS4 and a VR headset. We sold the VR headset because they made me feel sick, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can sell stuff.
Cool. I saw a question that we can quickly answer. Ryan Brown asked, do you do all of your eBay listings as 10 days to get a boost more often than 30-day listings? If I answer this first, I've actually just switched to that because I've upgraded to the high level shop, and you get that many more free listings. That I used to run 30-day buy it nows. I now do 10 days, so they end 3 times in that month. And then I do some stuff on good till cancelled if I have multiple items. Are you guys, how long do you list your stuff, guys?
We list ours good till cancelled at the moment. We are going to start doing the 30-day thing. Right now it's about admin. The amount of time does it take you a long time admin to like relist everything that's not unsold and stuff?
No, you can just go into your unsold listings, click and highlight them all and do them in bulk.
Yeah, I think that's what's putting us off at the minute.
You can do 500 at a time, so you can do it. I've done it before, but I kind of, one thing I always flip-flop between this, but one of the advantages of good till cancelled is the ability to run sales on your items, which you don't get in the UK unless you have a good till cancelled listing. So especially if you're paying for a shop, one of the things you're paying for is is markdown manager, and from my little kind of trial I did before, it did work. But then like I kind of I think a lot of my stuff's on 30 days, but I might actually go the other way and go to good till cancelled rather than 10 days, just so I can, run the odd sale on some items, because I do think it helps. I think, when you get a little strike through the price and it tells you what percentage off it is, and it's meant to give the item a boost in rankings as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've never experimented with that. Yeah,
it's one to just mess around with. Again, some people will probably be like, yeah, that's the way, and some people will be, different ways.
There's a question aimed at me. I'll quickly have a look at that one. From Classic Art. Hi Nick, I bought a huge tube of Lego. It was probably a kilo, collection of minifigs, bricks, etc. No instruction books. Do you recommend selling the bricks in bulk, minifigures one by one? Minifigures I wouldn't do one by one unless you've got something very specific that you can look up and see if it has any value, like a Marvel figure or something like that. The figures I'd probably do a lot of if they're just standard ones, and then yeah, the rest of it I'd do as a kilo. Unless you've got anything, Cora will tell you this, with Lego there's no one quick answer. I mean, you could have one part that for some reason is unusual or rare or sought after, or a bit of a train or something that you could get a tenner for a part for. It took me years and years to learn this stuff. So in general, I would do the figures as a bundle and the Lego as a lot, but you can do Lego by parts. But it takes a lot of getting used to and a lot of learning.
And a lot of time. And you've got to remember that time is money.
Yeah.
And so if it's going to take you 5 hours to sort this stuff out, you've got to put a price on your hour. And then think, right, if I part all this out, it's got to be worth £30 more. Is it going to be worth £30 more? Probably not, in which case I'm probably better off just swapping the minifigures and the parts and selling those separately. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only way we made Lego make sense was when we would buy the biggest collections we could find. The biggest one we bought was 1,000 kilo collection, and it filled up the camper van we had. We drove all the way to somewhere up north to pick it up, and then we would spend literally a week sorting it all and then sell it off. But then we would have, similar to your office, we used to have these walls that were just covered in little pots with all part numbers in, etc., etc. Once you had those listings running, you could just add to those pots and change the numbers. And once you get that system going, then it makes sense, because it becomes less and less time sorting and making listings because they already exist. But I just got, like you guys were saying earlier, I just got sick of it, to be honest. But yeah, there are many ways of doing Lego, but for that question, I would say, yeah, perhaps do a little lot of minifigures and sell the rest as a bundle. See what else we've got in here. Oh, Joe's in there. Hi, Joe. Yeah, Joe said a similar thing. Depends what the figures are. A different Joe has said, is the only difference between buy it now and fixed price just the fact that on buy it now they have to pay straight away? I think is a little bit confused. Having to pay straight away is something you opt to put on, if I'm not wrong. You can opt, I certainly do. Buy it now and fixed price, they're the same thing. What am I missing here? Have you seen that question, Z?
Yeah, no, a Daydream Carer answered that, saying, yeah, it's the same thing. And he always lists for 10 days and always has sales going on. It works great. So
cool.
There's a combination, I guess, of certain items on 10 days and certain with Markdown Manager.
Where's Helen vanished to, by the way?
We've got a guy picking up an order.
Oh, cool. No.
A regular customer.
Right.
What we've been working really well, by the way, is we're selling, you know, we've been obsessed by buying Rainbow Magic books, and they've just not been selling in bundles. So
Sorry, I'm back.
It's okay. We've been selling them individually, and we've noticed that although you're only getting, say, £1.79 plus postage, that's really doing a lot for the bigger and better items. Just getting that £1 sale, it's boosting up other items, and we're noticing like a flurry then of like sales straight afterwards, which is suppose the same thing. It's just how you go about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I gave up picking them up. I saw the market for them just crash. Whether some people would now say, yeah, that's because you shared it, Nick, but I don't know whether that's true. But yeah, I haven't really bothered with those for the past year, really. But yeah, I wouldn't have thought people would buy them individually. That's interesting.
Well, I thought if someone's picked up a few anyway,
yeah,
I'm really going to want to go and buy a massive bundle that's got the same numbers in they've already got. So it's worked in that sense, because I think if you just wanted that one or them three.
I think when starting out, we made the mistake of watching everybody's videos, but never actually like looking at ourselves. We were like, oh, Zaheer's picked that up and sold it for that. That's great. And never actually thought, do you know what? We should probably look on eBay ourselves and see. So we saw everybody doing bundles and thought bundles were the way to go. But for us personally, we're finding selling things individually is working better, or just as good for us. And those small sales are making a difference.
Well, it's very true. Trends change. What people are into at one time changes. And also, some of my videos are now 2.5 years old. Some of the stuff I was buying and selling then, I would not touch with a smelly stick. You know what I mean? It's like, but people are still watching those, I think, and just copying it verbatim, which isn't good. But yeah, you do have to do your own research. I mean, Zaheer and I have said that till we're blue in the face. Do your own thing and do your own research. But yeah, I mean, funnily enough, I listed some Disney DVD bundles this Christmas, which I did the same last Christmas, and they sold quicker than I would have imagined. I sold one this Christmas and the others are still sat there. So whether that market is now overcrowded or whether DVDs have dropped again in value this year, which I think they have.
Yeah, they're going to be. And I think that's the point that people need to. DVD, you've got to think ahead, like for 5 years. In 5 years' time, DVDs will be as weird to pick up as VHSs. Like, I just feel like they're not going to become obsolete. Obviously, VCRs we still buy and sell, but people can get stuff on demand, and people want stuff on demand now. Everybody wants everything now. Amazon Prime and Netflix and stuff, and Sky and everything else. So DVDs are sought after, and they will get like worse, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think kids, funnily enough, will be a market which will carry on. The same we see with VHSs, because people, I think with DVD it's different, that people want the physical one so they can take it on holiday, play it in their car DVD player, or play it in a portable one when they're camping, that sort of thing. So I think that will have longevity. But I mean, already your bog standard feature film is worth nothing on DVD. It's just, it's been that way for years. But yeah, I think kids ones will have a slightly longer life, but they're already becoming a struggle.
I mean, everyone starts off, I think, you know, there's no shame in starting off by emulating what you've seen, because that's how you learn, isn't it? I think the key is how quickly you develop your own thing. And I mean, you guys said that you picked up a lot of stuff that you saw in other videos, but very, very quickly. I mean, I think you guys are a good example of a fast learner versus a slow learner. Now, everyone's going to be different, and there's nothing wrong with that. It might take you a bit longer. It might not take you as much time. But
confidence.
Pardon?
It's also confidence. I was very confident. I was just like, oh yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. When you're first starting out, £2 for an item can seem really, I mean, it still does. It can seem really scary if you've not seen it before, but you've got that gut feeling. Yeah.
I mean, again, it is mindset, isn't it? I always used to justify things by comparing them to the cost of a Big Mac meal, because I used to eat a lot of Big Mac meals, and I still do. And I always used to be like, okay, it's less than a Big Mac meal. So even though I know nothing about it, surely if I'm willing to spend that much on a Big Mac meal, then surely I can just, you know, pretend I'm throwing my money at this. And it's the best way to learn is to actually do things, isn't it? So I think, you know, as long as you've got that attitude, like you said, that confidence to just try things, you'll learn and develop your style very quickly, and you'll start doing things that you enjoy doing and selling things that you enjoy selling. I mean, I see there's stuff that you guys do that I personally wouldn't, but that's just because my interest isn't there, and I'm sure vice versa. You'll see things that other people sell.
Hats, like the baseball hats, yeah. We find that really weird, but it's working for you.
I love that. I sold just a golf club hat, some golf club in Barbados. Someone paid me 15 quid plus shipping, but yeah, it does work. So, you know, everything's.
And Lego is your kryptonite, you see, Zaheer.
I can't stand it. Beck was doing a bunch of it. Oh, shudder. If it's new, I'm okay, but if it's not new, no.
I've just noticed we've got Tom in the chat. Hi, Tom. How you doing? Hope you're well. And Darren's in there as well. He says, wait, you mean to say the 200 Trivial Pursuits I got are worthless in 2017? Quite possibly. Can't see any questions. Like I said, I did have questions, but we kind of just covered them by chattering anyway, I think. Let me have a look. Oh, there's one here that I think we touched on a bit, but do you guys have very clearly defined roles within your business, or is that evolving still? How does that work for you?
It evolves on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Depending on how busy we are and what we've got to do and how we're mentally feeling. I think mental sort of attitude is everything. And if say Helen's wrapping an order but she's struggling, me coming and helping her for 20 minutes can make all the difference to both of our days. And I think it's about learning that. So yeah, we just switch roles and do different things all the time, but that's what keeps it interesting and keeps it fun.
I think it's hard sometimes, isn't it? Because you're talking about something that's not quantitative. It's not like black and white. It's not a physical thing. It's mindset. It's difficult to sometimes get across like how important that is. And you can tell, I mean, you guys talk about like listening to Gary, you love Gary Vaynerchuk. You know, some people will see that guy and just, you know, be like, you know, because he's the typical brash, like American know-it-all type character. But if you get the message that he's trying to put across, it's more valuable than any bolo list or any, you know, it's more valuable than any of that stuff. You know, anything else really, because without the right mindset, there's nothing, you know. And I think it's important to get that across to people, because it's a bit airy-fairy, but it's important.
Yeah, because I'm terrible some days. Like,
if one thing goes wrong, Helen can have a complete bad run for like the whole of the day. Like, things will just get wrong
Like,
and wrong and wrong.
I dropped it a couple of days ago.
A box.
I dropped a box, one of those Lego boxes, and it broke. So, and then another one went down with it. So there was all this Lego mixed, and I had no idea where it was supposed to be. And I just sort of sat there and stared at it for a good 10 minutes. Laura was like, come on, let's get this sorted. And I'm like, no, I've messed it all up. I've ruined the day. And she was like, no, now you're just being silly. Just pick it off the floor and we'll find a new place for it to go.
Yeah.
Whereas if I were on my own, I would have just sat and cried.
She would.
I think naturally over time with partnerships that work, when one of you's on a downer or you're having a meltdown, the other one will naturally just, step in and make it work out. Andrea and I like that. When I'm really frustrated with stuff, Andrea will be the level-headed one and sort it out, and vice versa. And it works out that way naturally, hopefully. Not all the time, but most of the time. The other one will step in and make everything work out. Let's have a look again in here. I've got a question here from Lewis. Hey, Nick and Zaheer, what is good till cancelled, and do you use for everything? P.S. Thanks for the advice on getting the YouTube app, Nick. No problem. Well, good till cancelled is a style of listing that you can use where your item stays, when it comes to the end of its 30-day period, it automatically relists itself. And I believe you have to have the shop for that. Isn't that right, guys?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So you may not have seen that if you don't have a shop on eBay. That's probably the reason you haven't come across it. Somebody here is saying Anthony Robbins is the man.
Tony Robbins, yeah, he's like.
Oh, Tony Robbins, yeah, you've mentioned him before. I still haven't started watching these people. I need to check them out.
Well, I mean, it might not do anything for you, but I mean, you've got the mindset anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's about, you've been doing this for God knows how long now. Is it like 14 years, 15?
Full time, about 15 years, yeah.
But you
believe me, I have
the mindset. You wouldn't. But no, but of course you have down days. Everyone has down days. I have down days. Beck has down days. But it's what you do about it. Like, and there's different things you can do. You can have like your little networks of friends and groups that can help cheer you up. I mean, there's that. You can complement each other if you're working as part of a team. So like me and Beck, again, very similar to you guys there. And if I'm feeling down, she can pick me up, or vice versa. It just works, doesn't it? But it's important to kind of always be on top of it. We've got 127 people watching now.
Fantastic. Oh, should we say, yeah, welcome to everybody who's watching. And let's see, where are we at with likes, actually? I haven't even looked. 66. Right, let's see if we can get that past 50. So, yeah. Thumbs up. Only if you're enjoying it. We're not, not twisting your arm.
No, even if you don't enjoy it, give it a thumbs up.
Especially we've got 4 thumbs down at the moment.
Oh, that's okay.
I quickly need to say, somebody just mentioned, I didn't realise this, apparently Good Till Cancelled is available, across the board now. Is that a new development? I didn't realise that was the case.
I don't know, because I've not had a shop for so long. I'm not really sure what's what with that now. Our Texas gal's just turned up as well. She's a bit late though. But yeah, because it's 7:06 now. So don't know if you got.
Hi, Margaret. Right, let me see if I had any more questions left on my little list. Covered all of that. Yeah, going right back to when you started with Lego. What was the impetus to do that? I mean, you said you went to uni. I assume you didn't study Lego, so you must have had some aha moment that thought, I'll sell Lego online.
So I was doing reselling at the time, and every avenue seemed to be closing in my face, and I could not source enough stock in the free time I had outside of uni. And so when I found Lego, and I found like the Bricklink website where you could just like sell the same as eBay, but it was all set up there for you, and it was like a revelation. It was like, brilliant, I can buy as much as I need, and I can buy it when I need it, and I can do it when I need it, and everything else. And so I stopped reselling. And then, yeah, Lego kind of took off, and it started smaller. And then as I finished university, or sort of as I got into my final year at uni, no, I'll go even further back than that. I had a work placement at IBM, the computer company. And there was some point during the Christmas and New Year period where they were getting audited, and I was in work from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. and I hated every single minute of it. And there were these people who were away from home, and I just thought, you know what, I don't want to do this. This isn't for me. And that's when I realized about the difference between like money and happiness and everything else. And so that's where I really started looking at avenues. Lego took off. Final year at university was like a real, right, I'm not going to apply for any graduate jobs. I'm still living at home with my parents, so I've got a chance to kind of, and that was a big thing. If I had this house when I just started Lego, I wouldn't have the confidence to have done it, and I'd have probably stayed in a job, or at least part-time as a job, because it's just so scary when you're first starting out. But I didn't have many costs to cover, and luckily my parents were quite supportive and took off from there, really.
Fantastic. I just had some questions that came into my head, and then I got so absorbed listening, I forgot what I was going to ask. I was going to say to Helen, actually, you're into craft stuff. Was that your university background, or and are you going to pursue that at all?
I did a historical and performance costume course.
Wow, that sounds so cool.
Which was really intense because it was like the second best course in the country for what I did. Within your first year, you made a whole garment with accessories, the dress, the underwear, a hat, everything, as in just one module. You had at least another 4 to go with that. So it was really intense. And in your last year, you made 7 costumes in total. Like in the whole 2 years, you made 7 costumes, and then you had your one in first year. So you had like 8 or 9 altogether. So if you think about how intense that could be, and money, it costs a lot of money because the fabrics that you had to get had to be high quality, because you were meeting people like Jenny Bevan and all these like really big people who have worked on Pirates of the Caribbean and worked with, you know, Robert Downey Jr. and all this stuff, and you got to meet them at your last end of year show. You put on this show, which was even more intense because you had to raise the money for it. And after that, I was like, I'm so tired. I don't want to look at a sewing machine for a long time.
So is that the reason you didn't pursue it, or were there other reasons?
It was really hard to come back and find a job within my area.
Without going to London.
Without going to London, because for me, I'm not a big city person. I like being in London and I like going to cities, but I don't know if I'm one to live there. I think I'm too much of a country person in some senses. Does that make sense? So then it was really hard to find a job, and I thought any job at this point will do. So I got a job where I worked at Gap in Leeds in city centre, and then I met you.
And at this point, her mum had got into making these prom dresses for these 3 16-year-old girls, and Helen was having to go make these prom, and she hated every second of it.
Yeah,
and
did.
oh my! In your first meeting of somebody, and all I could see was this and this was when you had really bad stress, wasn't it? And she was flying off the handles, and this isn't going right, and that isn't going right, and that's you did look into going into self-employment for alterations and things, but
but you're just not
all making stuff.
It's just not worth it
Financially.
All these people that sit and eat, I'd happily sit and sew, half of my day for something, but I have to do it out of enjoyment, because if not, it's just not worth it.
It's too much pressure.
It's too much pressure. You don't make the money. I know you do things for the love of it, but if you're losing money, then you can't keep going with it.
And then get into love for it.
Yeah, and I think I did try it in January. In January, I went through all my fabric and were like, right, I'm going to do something with it. And I started making handbags and started trying to make dolls and all.
And we sold that on Etsy, which is where we know about Etsy from.
Yeah, but I sold all that. I sold 1 cushion cover.
Wow.
And that were it. And I thought,
I've spent all that time. What am I doing? So I've got all the stuff because it's always useful, because there's always somebody having a baby or a coat needs fixing or something. But it's not.
We tried. I was just going to say, we tried some of the craft stuff. We used to make lots of stuff out of Scrabble tiles and all of that sort of thing. And Andrew used to try and sell that on Etsy, and we were selling so little through Etsy that we chucked it on eBay, and we sold loads on eBay. It was bizarre. So yeah, Etsy for us just didn't work out. And I can totally relate to the whole uni thing as well. I've got a degree from an art college in animation, but I found trying to get into that world so stressful and so difficult that I just opted out, really. After all of that hard work getting the degree, I just left it all behind. But I can understand that.
It also takes quite a lot of guts, I think, to kind of step back, and especially when it's something that you've invested so much effort into, to actually draw a line and say, okay, I realize this isn't working how I expected, so it's time to try something else. And again, that's testament to how quickly you learn. You know, again, we go back to that you know, you could have just been stubborn and just kept with it and pushed yourself carrying on with it and not achieving what you wanted to achieve out of it, and that would have just made things worse, I guess. But it's kind of cool that you're able to, because that in itself is an important skill, isn't it? Because you can apply that to sourcing. If you source the wrong things but you keep on sourcing the wrong things again and again, then you're going to come a cropper.
Indeed. I just noticed we've been live for an hour and a quarter. So we probably ought to start thinking about wrapping this up. I just saw an interesting question and lost it again. Let's take a couple more and then we'll wrap it up.
We've got Domino's pizza sat at the side of us as well, staring back at us.
Is that, sorry?
We've got Domino's pizza staring back at us.
Oh, it'll be getting cold.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, there's a question from Stephen Moore. It says, where do you buy your bulk Lego from? Was it from clearance in shops, as Stephen said, or did you actually have an account with Lego? I'm interested to know.
An account with Lego is like the holy grail within the AFOL community.
Awesome.
People actually buy and sell those now on the black market for like thousands of pounds. Yeah. We did apply for one, but you're supposed to have a bricks and mortar shop, like a physical, and they'll come out and assess the shop and everything. And although we have contacts at Lego HQ, the discount that you get isn't actually as good as the sales in supermarkets who buy it in such high volumes. And the terms and conditions of buying from Lego and their discount just isn't worth it when you can go in, especially a couple of years ago, and you were able to go in and get sets at 50% off, and good sets at 50% off often. Another reason we've stopped actually selling the Lego is because it's getting harder to buy at a discount, and it's harder to resell because every Tom, Dick and Harry thinks that Lego is worth money. So it's got harder to resell, and it's harder to pick up because everybody seems to be buying it, and I think supermarkets just aren't marking it down like they were.
Yeah, it's funny. When we had, I don't know if you know, but Andrea and I ran a gaming shop, like a CEX, but it was like an independent. And we had accounts with Sony and Nintendo and all the big guys, Microsoft. And we could buy our games cheaper from Amazon day one than we were getting it from their official suppliers. So I had so many rows on the phone to my reps saying, can you at least match Amazon's day one price for the next FIFA game or whatever? And yeah, I closed some of my accounts in the end because I had so many rows with reps. It was ridiculous because the discounts they would give me compared to Amazon, compared to Tesco's, were nothing. So it was cheaper for me to buy it from online. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I can imagine it being exactly the same with Lego. There was one more question that I saw. God, this chat goes so quick. No, I can't find it. Did you see anything else, or did you have any more questions here?
No, I can't. I haven't seen anything. A lot of comments, really.
Sure, I saw one. Oh, okay, no worries. Well, I think we shall wrap this up. It's been fantastic to meet you guys, be it over the internet, and get to chat to you. And good luck with the channel. I hope it continues to grow.
Thank you.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. Thanks forever, Zaheer. It's good to get into the new year and start afresh.
Definitely. And we were only 3 minutes late starting as well, so that's quite a record. I hope you guys enjoy your cold Domino's pizza, and thanks for taking time out of your evening. It was really great to chat to you guys. It's been something we've been looking forward to, so it was really cool.
Thank you.
No problem. And thanks to everybody for your comments and questions. I hope we got around to most of them. We are still not very good at doing that. And
nearly
yeah,
140 watches as well, so fantastic.
wow. Give us a last thumbs up on that button if you can. We're at 86 thumbs up right now. And one last thanks to Cora and Helen. Check out their YouTube channel. I will try very hard to remember to put a link. Just give us the name of the channel just in case I forget.
You can just find it on Cora Harrison.
So just search Cora Harrison and it will pop up. So there you go. Right, fantastic. Thanks everybody for taking part, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
I always forget.